Hey friends, welcome to a new day. This is Zen, and thank you for joining me once again on my journey coming back from fear. Today is episode 9 as we continue looking at a common fear. And today's fear is going to be the fear of death. Dun, dun, dun. So Jenny was all alone. It was 2 months since her dear hubby had passed, and she just couldn't seem to move on. "Listen here, Jenny," said her good friend Barb. "Maybe you should go see a psychic. One of my friends did it after her husband died, and it made her feel so much better, knowing that her dearest was happy." So that's how, on the next Tuesday, Jenny found herself in a dim room with a crystal ball and a psychic talking in a calm voice. "Is he here?" Jenny asked. "Yes, I sense him," was her reply. "Can you ask him if he's happy?" Jenny hesitantly asked. "He's putting his hand to his mouth like he wants to smoke," said the psychic. "Oh, of course," said Jenny. "He needs a cigar. My husband can never last more than a few hours without a cigar." "I guess they don't have cigars up there. Did he say where he is or how I could get one to him?" questioned Jenny urgently. Said the psychic. "I can't seem to get that question across to him. But then again," said the psychic after a brief pause, "he didn't say anything about needing a lighter." Uh-oh. And there it is. One of our fears of death. Hell. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I have mentioned in several of the podcasts that the root of many of our other fears comes down to the fear of rejection from people or our Creator and the fear of death. The fear of death itself is somewhat attached to the fear of a painful death, and that is a small part of our fear and is part of our survival instinct. And that can be healthy fear, like staying away from a cliff where we can fall to our death, or staying away from large animals with big teeth, or out of dark alleys with strange noises, or, the famous not going into the basement when we hear a strange sound. But the biggest part of the fear of death, I feel, is the fear of the unknown, of what happens when we die here, or we fear judgment of some sort on the other side. And we'll take a look at each of these. Number 1 is the painful death. And there's not much we can do about the fear of a painful physical death. Really, all we can do is try to have a knowing that death can come quickly in those situations. Quick, anyway, compared to eternity. If we fear a prolonged physical, painful illness that will eventually end our life, there is, of course, a possibility of other options to end the pain. Maybe with medication that can numb us, and the such. The fact is that we all die. Our confusion comes when we receive news that our life may not end the way that we think it should, or when we think it should. When we accept the fact that we are dying, either sooner or later, then we can enjoy the moments that we are living, rather than focusing on the fear of death. Sometimes that allows our body to come out of fight or flight mode, and thus our immune system kicks back in, and it begins the fight to heal our body. There are a few other things we can do to support our bodies to battle against disease or disease. We talked about some of them before. Breathing deeply and regularly. That helps keep the body calm and supports our health. Pure therapeutic grade essential oils can support our body's immune system and other functions. Meditation allows our minds to be calm, our bodies to be calm, and we can focus on our power of choice, and that allows us to release love energy into our body. And when we step out of that fear, we make room for our health. So that is a small part of our fear, though, the physical pain. Fear of the unknown is a more common fear. That's number 2. What does happen when we die? Are we afraid that life just ends? We become nothing? Do we fear that there is nothing after we die? Well, if that is the case, then we can live our life to its fullest now. And in this scenario, we won't care when we're dead, right? Because we won't exist. But I feel that the greater fear is that of the unknown, that we believe that there is something that happens when we pass from this life on this planet, and that we do return to somewhere. Our human ego likes to be in control, and not knowing for sure what happens makes it feel out of control, and thus the anxiety can simmer within us. One of the advantages of having the internet these days, and so much communication within our world now, is that we do get to witness the experiences of so many people around the globe that have died and come back to life. It is also more widely accepted, and there are also so many individuals that have been able to connect with others that have passed to the other side. And these events have been recorded in videos and books, providing such specific information from those who have passed that it validated to the people who were still living that it was indeed those individuals. We have such a greater opportunity to be open and to communicate to those who have passed. And with all of this, we are able to become less fearful of death. We can begin to look at death as a transition from one path on our journey to another, just a different location. It's like heading off to a new vacation in another place. And this can also change how much we enjoy life here in the present moment when we stop being so attached to the future and to death. So if we believe in an afterlife, then this brings us to number 3, and this is what I think is one of the greatest fears of death, and that is the fear of judgment after death. We have many organized religions that have teachings and beliefs about a judgment, punishment, and reward for our actions while we are here. It is the center of many arguments and disagreements about what the rules are and which are the worse sins with the greater punishment. At the core of many organized religions is a list of rules of what you should do and what you should not do. And many of these are rooted in love, such as, not stealing from a neighbor, not killing a neighbor, not messing with their relationship by cheating with their significant other, etc. Other rules, I'm not sure where they originated from as far as, what you're allowed to eat and when you're able to eat that, or who you can be in a relationship with and when you're supposed to be able to have intimate relations and the such. I haven't really been one to accept things just because it was written so a long time ago, or because someone else was told that it was so. For those things that do not sit well with my heart and soul, I question them. whether it is popular to do so or not. For example, when I first heard that the creator of all things would send us to hell if we didn't obey or follow certain requirements for forgiveness, it didn't seem right inside me. It conflicted with the love that I had seen in this world. You know, when you see the love of a parent for a child, or even like an aunt or uncle or friend of the family, when you see their love for a child, we often see the patience and acceptance, no matter what the child might do. Sure, there might be things that they would prefer the child not do because it hurts them or others. But the first reaction, is to protect and love the individual. And then possibly our conditioning kicks in and we feel the need to punish them because we were punished for that action when we were young, or because we think we are supposed to punish them based on social norms or what we saw on TV or movies or books, all that conditioning. So my thought process was that if a human adult can have that kind of grace for another individual, how much more could the creator of all things have for us? And how does that make you feel in your heart? This made me think a bit more about the love that the Creator has for us. And I came to a fork in the road. I came to the question of, is the love the Creator has for me conditional or unconditional? That is a tipping point for our lives. Our belief around that question will take us either into the bliss of unconditional love or into the fearing world of conditional love. We will either believe that the universe is kind and supporting each step of our path, celebrating us as the amazing creations we are, not wanting to instill fear in us. Or we will believe that it judges us, waiting for us to take one step out of the acceptable way to act, and hoping that we know what is right or wrong. Which brings up another interesting question. What if my organized religion differs from others? And what if they are right and we are wrong, or vice versa? Will the judges understand that we were following what we were told, or will we be screwed? Fear, fear, fear. Does that sound like a creator of love? We have been taught for centuries that the Creator spoke to a chosen few, and through them, they communicated to the masses. And then when written language was created, then people began to write down what they felt the Creator was telling them. And these writings have been, of course, converted and translated from one language to another, to another, to another, being edited and influenced by kings and those in power. Yeah, I was surprised to find out that all these books were not all originally written in English. And some of the books have an additional fear added into them. And if anyone changes this book, they will be in danger of eternal damnation or a curse. And somehow that seems a bit too convenient, doesn't it? Do we think we are not worthy enough for the Creator to speak directly to our heart? Can we clear our mind of the things we have been told and listen directly to the Creator? Can we question our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world, and see what we find when we have an open heart and an open mind? Can we look through the eyes of unconditional love and see a whole new world before us? A whole new me? Can you imagine what it might feel like not fearing that we will disappoint the Creator of all things? That instead, the Creator looks at us with pride, honoring who we are, celebrating our bravery as we face all these experiences in this conditional world? Do we think it would hurt to try that? We might feel uncomfortable at first because without all our rules of who we are supposed to be, we might feel a little lost. But when we reconnect and become aware once again that we are powerful, supernatural beings made from unconditional love, suddenly everything changes. We might have heard about the peace that surpasses all understanding. Well, that is what bliss feels like. The knowing that there is nothing we can do to lose unconditional love, and nothing we can do to gain more unconditional love, because we have it all unconditionally, right now, forever, without end. Take some time to sit and slowly approach your thoughts about death, breathing deeply and consciously as you approach your beliefs. This can be the change you have been looking for in your life. Next episode, we will chat about the fear of not being forgiven or not being able to forgive. Exciting times. Until then, remember that every moment is either of unconditional love or the fear of losing conditional love. Remember who you are.